UFC 322 is a couple of days away. As you guys know, I usually give my prediction and breakdown. MSG, Madison Square Garden, New York, United States of America. We have another banger to fill up the stadium. Let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. Obviously, kicking off the main card, we thank God. We thank God that this dickhead here, Bo Nickel, we thank God he was taken off the main card and put on the prelims, because how dare the UFC put him above these two? We know what this fight could potentially be, so we're happy it's on the main card now. Obviously, we've got Beneil Dariush, who is seasoned. You know, he's fought most of the guys in the lightweight division. And then we got Saint Denis, who, you know, he's fought quite a few people in the lightweight division as well, like in the rankings. Well, Dustin Poirier is not in the rankings anymore, but, you know. And Saint Denis, listen, good fighter. Dariush, good fighter. I do think this is going to be more of a grappling matchup. But, you know, Dariush's grappling is actually very underrated. So, you know, this is an interesting fight, because we know how Saint Denis is going to come out. He's going to come out and push the pace. He's going to be on Dariush from as soon as the fight starts. And we saw what happened to Mauricio Huffy, I've forgotten how to say his name now. He couldn't handle the pressure at all. I do think Beneil Dariush will be able to handle the pressure. He's a seasoned vet. The only thing I think is he's at the later stages of his career. But I'm leaning more towards Saint Denis, but I'm going to say this fight goes to a decision, because they're both very, very good grapplers. So I think Beneil Dariush is probably going to be able to deal with that level of grappling and constant pressure. Whoever has the better exchanges when they're standing up, I think wins this fight, because they're both good. They both have a good level of grappling, so it's a hard one to pick, but I'm going to pick Saint Denis to win this one by decision. Next up, we got Leon Edwards versus Carlos Pratas. And guys, this one, yeah, like I am rooting for, deep down, I'm rooting for Leon Edwards, I won't lie, but it's difficult, man, because Leon Edwards should win and can 100% win. It's just he has such a reserved way of fighting. It's like I'm not saying you should look for the knockout or, you know, anything like that, but the way he fights is too reserved. It's like, I'm just here to get the win. I'm gonna, you know, touch you up, move, touch and move, you know. And sometimes he doesn't do it. You know what it is, yeah? When you fight some people, yeah, even if you're... Look at what happened with Nate Diaz. Yes, Leon was, you know, beating the brakes off of Nate Diaz. Let's just say it how it is. Yes, Leon did switch off for a little second, but because of his fighting style, it allowed Nate Diaz to wobble him. If Leon Edwards was a fighter who pushes the pace a bit more, he probably could have finished Nate Diaz. I'm not being funny. Like, Nate Diaz gets hurt all the time, like dropped. You know what I mean? So, and then obviously we got Carlos Pratas, who is a guy who's going to push the pace of the fight. I honestly think Pratas is gonna come in here and think, "Fuck, man, I need to get this motherfucker out of here." Honestly, obviously that could be a pro, that could be a pro and a con, because the way Leon Edwards fights, when we've seen him fight people who push the pace, like look at, I know it's different styles, but look at Bilal, look at Sean Brady, look at Kamaru in their first two fights. They were pushing the pace, the unrelentless pressure, the takedowns. But if Carlos Pratas can stay in Leon Edwards' face and push Leon Edwards back, he's going to win this fight, because Leon doesn't really push people back. He kind of stays in the center of the octagon. It's like that's where he likes to be, you know, so he can kind of outpoint you. It's going to be a high level of striking though, and obviously Leon Edwards prefers to fight a striker, but this might be a blessing and a curse, I'll be honest. I'm not gonna lie. So, you know, they do say, be careful what you wish for. You wished for this now. You wished for it, Abi. You have gotten what you wished for. We just hope that on that day you don't smoke the fucking ganja and fight like somebody that has just been inhaling Igbo their whole life. Because Leon, I don't want to see any nonsense performance. If you lose, but you put your all of your hearts, you wear your heart on your sleeve, we won't care. We'll be happy. But I'm not going to lie. Say this is life and death for you. If we lose, say goodbye. You will never be champion again. And to be completely honest, guys, I don't think Leon Edwards will become a champion ever again. I think there's too many young and hungry fighters in that division. And with all of that being said, I'm going Carlos Pratas with a round 2 KO. I think Carlos Pratas is going to cause an upset. And, you know, honestly, if Leon Edwards does win, it's going to be a decision. So, you know, if you want to be safe, bet Leon Edwards by decision. That's what I would say. Because Leon does kind of have the style that could potentially take Pratas to a decision. But the way Pratas fights and the way I see him coming in this fight, it's going to push the pace. Like, and I don't see Leon knocking him out. I don't. So, because I would say in the midst of that, in the midst of all of that pressure and relentless pace, Leon Edwards could counter and get a knockout. But I don't see that happening. So, I just can't with Leon anymore. I'm sorry. You've let me down too many times, Leon, so I can't anymore. Sorry, I'm going with Carlos Pratas by his round 2 TKO. We move on to Sean Brady versus Michael Morales, which is a fight that is not being talked about enough. Very, very underrated fight. This has a potential to be like a Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady sort of fight, because, you know, Sean Brady came out, put it on Leon Edwards straight away, took him down, ended up submitting him. And, you know, I think Michael Morales is a tough guy. He's young as well. And I do think he'll probably be able to take Sean Brady to a decision. But I just think with the style Sean Brady has, that, you know, he mixes in his wrestling with his striking, I think he's going to be able to do enough to get the decision over Michael Morales, just because of the way he's going to mix it up. Although when they're standing up and exchanging, I do think Michael Morales can, you know, land some good shots on Sean Brady. But I do think it's going to be a thing of Brady is going to have Morales a bit hesitant to throw strikes in some moments, just because of the threat of the takedowns. So, you know, it's very interesting, because here we basically have a mixed martial artist versus a striker. Obviously, Sean Brady's striking is not the best, so we'll call him more of a grappler. But I do think this is going to go to a decision, and I think Sean Brady is going to, because he's going to mix in the wrestling, he's going to get the decision. I truly believe that. Michael Morales could win, but I just think, you see, when you get two styles like this, I truly believe the style that has the better mixed martial arts will win a fight like this, because Michael Morales, like, he is a striker, let's be real. He doesn't really, we haven't seen him showcase any grappling or anything. And I know, yes, people say he was able to stuff Gilbert Burns' takedowns, but this is Gilbert Burns of now. This is not, I'll be real, Gilbert Burns hasn't been the same since he fought Khamzat Chimaev. And we all know that. He hasn't. So for this one, I'm going with Sean Brady via decision. I think the way he's going to mix it up is going to get him the nod. So again, Sean Brady by decision. We move on to the co-main event. which is Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili. Both seasoned fighters. Another interesting matchup. To be honest, it's not a bad co-main event. I know some people don't really like women's MMA. I'm not the biggest fan of women's MMA because I just think it's fucking bullshit sometimes. And the fights are just, not always, but sometimes the fights are just fucking shit and boring. But here we have probably the highest level of women's mixed martial arts that you can possibly get. And I do think in this fight, Zhang Weili coming up from strawweight, I do think she's going to have, she's going to be more sharp, quicker. She's going to have that lighter man skill that we call it in the men's division. Obviously, Valentina Shevchenko is well-rounded, seasoned, so it's going to be a very back and forth fight. But I just think the constant... Because, listen, Zhang Weili's system of fighting is actually very good, She'll strike. She knows when to strike. She knows when to go for takedowns. My only thing is, will Valentina be too strong or too big for Zhang Weili? And I genuinely don't think... I'm not going to lie to you guys. I fucking rate Zhang Weili as a fighter, personally. Like, I really, really rate her. I'm a big fan of Zhang Weili. I like her. She's... when she speaks English, is kind of cute, Like, when she tries to do it. Very nice from what I've seen, human being, from what I've seen online, and I think if there's anyone that deserves it, I think it is Zhang Weili, man. She's done a lot in her division. And listen, she had no choice but to move up because she dominated that division. Even, I've forgotten Mackenzie Dern, and I've forgotten her opponent's name. That's how she's just irrelevant. But Mackenzie Dern is champion now. But I'm gonna keep it real. If Zhang Weili was around, her and her opponent would have never got the title shot. Maybe against Zhang Weili, but Zhang Weili would have ragdolled them. I'll be honest. She's the best strawweight in the planet without a doubt. And we're getting, this is a super fight in a sense. But listen. There's not really much to say because they're both well-rounded. So, the only thing I'll say is Alexa Grasso was able to capitalize on certain mistakes that Valentina Shevchenko makes. So, I think Zhang Weili will be able to capitalize on some of those mistakes. And I just think Zhang Weili is going to be quicker, faster, more explosive. And in the strength department, I think a lot of people are going to be shocked, I do feel like Zhang Weili is going to be able to stand toe-to-toe with Valentina Shevchenko. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised with how strong Zhang Weili is. And, I think in terms of the grappling exchange, in my opinion, Zhang Weili is going to do better than Shevchenko on the feet. But the grappling exchanges will be very interesting. But again, I like, you see the way Zhang Weili is able to control her opponents and keep them there and land the ground and pound. And, I do think that Zhang Weili is going to be able to get the job done. So I'm going to go with Zhang Weili by decision. I don't think any of them get knocked out in this fight, but I do think it's going to be a decision win for Zhang Weili. That's just my opinion. And then we move on to the main events, which is Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. Please, don't let this Dagestani man, please, don't let this Dagestani man get another belt. Please, I beg, please. Please, we beg. I'm begging. Don't let this man get the belts. Obviously, guys, no lightweight has ever moved up to welterweight in the UFC and been able to capture the welterweight belt. But if there's anyone that can do it right now, it's probably Islam Makhachev. I'm not going to lie. Very well-rounded mixed martial artist. It's just this one. I have to go with Jack Della Maddalena. There's not history behind this fight, but obviously Islam fought Alexander Volkanovski. Jack's boys with Alex Volkanovski, so we need you to get revenge for our boy Alex Volkanovski. And you see the problem with this fight, guys. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Yeah, and I do think Jack is gonna surprise a lot of people when it comes to the grappling side of things. But it's just, is his grappling good enough to to the level of Islam Makhachev? Because Islam Makhachev is a very good grappler, very very good, and even some of the guys Jack's gonna have to fight later down the line in the welterweight division, they're good wrestlers and grapplers, man. And I just don't know. I just don't know, man. Honestly, I just don't know when it comes to the grappling side of stuff. I know Jack has decent takedown defense, and he was able to stuff Bilal Muhammad's takedowns. But I'll be honest, Bilal Muhammad is a fucking idiot because he fought in that fight. The way he fought in that fight was just stupid. He came out with like a point to prove because he has Canelo hands. The bastard, the fool, really believed that he was Canelo in his head, and you see what's happened to him. He got beaten up like an idiot. But yeah, I guys, it's difficult because when we look at things, yeah, Jack Della Maddalena, do I think he can punish Islam on the feet? 100%, yes, 100% he can. Do I think he can piece up Islam on the feet? Yes, I do, because I just think his boxing. I was gonna say striking. I know he does kick and whatnot, but his hands, his boxing is very good. It's elite. And Islam hasn't faced anybody with hands like Jack Della Maddalena. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, he fought Dustin Poirier. No, it's completely different. Like, you can't, when it comes to hands, actual boxing in MMA, you can't compare Jack to anybody that Islam's fought. And the way Jack sets things up is very, very good. Like, sometimes even with a lazy jab. Like, he's very good at making his reads. So, I don't think Jack will freeze up because of the threat of the takedowns. But if Jack can't, even if he gets taken down, if he can't get back up to his feet, he's going to lose this fight. But the reason why it's interesting in that department is because obviously Jack is the bigger guy. So maybe he'll be too strong in those situations. It's just, like I said, if he can't get back to his feet, he's going to lose this fight. Honestly, he will lose this fight if he cannot get back to his feet. Because, again, Islam is a very well-rounded mixed martial artist who knows and likes to mix it up. So, if Jack can't stuff takedowns or get back to his feet and, put a real stamp on the striking side of things, Islam is going to win this fight. Because Islam is going to mix takedowns and striking. And what people need to understand is, if you're a fighter who does that, you are more than likely, when it comes to decisions, you are more than likely going to win that fight. Because if you're mixing it up, you're striking, you're doing good work in the striking department, you're doing good work in the grappling department, you're getting scored more points than your opponent who's just striking. It's not enough. In some fights, yes, your striking can be enough. But in this fight, I truly believe if Jack can't get back to his feet, his striking is not going to be enough. But if Jack can get back to his feet, I think it's going to be a long night for Islam Makhachev. And I do think Jack is going to surprise a lot of people in certain situations. It's just, like I said, the grappling is. I'm not 100% convinced. But yeah, if Jack can keep it standing and get back to his feet, Islam is going to have a long night. Because Jack, like I said, is not like any other fighter he has fought. The way he sets, I think even the way he sets things up in terms of boxing is better than Ilya. So, honestly, it's a 50-50 fight. However anybody wants to look at it, it's definitely a 50-50 fight. It's a lot closer than people think. But with all of that being said, I'm sorry, I can't pick Islam. We cannot allow him to become double champ. We cannot allow it. Please, I beg. We cannot allow it. So for that reason, I am picking Jack Della Maddalena to win. God, please. Give me foresight, God, please, I beg. You know what? I'm going Jack Della Maddalena round 3 TKO. I think Jack Della Maddalena is going to shock the world. And if there's anybody that can hit that past, I knew this stupid light was going to die. I need to buy a new light because this one is just a useless light. You have 3 bars and you're dying. Should 3 bars not last me a very long time? Useless thing. But I'm going with Jack Della Maddalena round 3 TKO. I think if there's anybody that can hit Islam right now is JDM, maybe even Ilya, because of the boxing, the level of boxing. But if JDM does not get the finish in round 3, I'm picking him by decision because we cannot allow this Islam. We cannot allow Khabib's protege to join the. In fact, to be honest, I don't even count him as double champ. Really and truly, if there's any 2 people right now, I'll be honest, that are real double champ, Ilya should be a double champ. I'm not going to lie. Islam, if he wins this belt, he should be a double champ because he didn't lose his belt. He had to vacate it. But like I said, JDM round 3 TKO or decision JDM because we cannot allow Khabib's protege to get double belts. Please, God, I beg. You know what to do. You know what to do. You know what I'm saying. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know your predictions in the comments. Who you guys are picking. All of that stuff. As usual, guys, like and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Please and thank you.